Okay, welcome back to Al's Burnt Wood Workshop, and today we're going to go over the comparison between the S1 40 watt laser and the M1 Ultra 10 watt laser. And we're going to do some engravings and we're going to do some tests, and we're going to see what the results are between the two and what the times are. The engraved times are substantially different, and we're going to go over that, and we're going to go over what they look like, some finishes, how I finish them off, what I do with them, and try not to make firewood. Okay, before we get started, I just want to apologize for this video taking so long to get out. I've been actually over a month working on it, and it's a little choppy because some things got engraved and then polyacrylic, and then I noticed they were filmed sideways, so some of this is filmed sideways. I don't know why. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll show you everything we did, and I got quite a bit done. And just a little sneak peek, this is an example of some of the stuff that we did. Okay, so we've got this set up in the S1 40 watt right now, as you can see here. So our image is set for 55 power, 175 speed. We're on Jarvis at 180 lines per centimeter, just to make it the same as the M1 Ultra's test. And I also made it the same size. So it's on a board that's off of that same board and the same size. So we're going to run that and process this one. Now, just keep in mind that the M1 Ultra, to run that engraving, was 2 hours, and actually it says 37 minutes, but it actually ran past that time. So I'm going to say probably 2 hours and at least 40 minutes, maybe a little more, to do it with the M1 Ultra. So we're just waiting for this to calculate, and then we'll see where we land, and then we'll do a comparison of the two once we figure out what our actual parameters are. Okay, 1 hour and 21 minutes. So about half the time from the looks of it. So there's our picture, our image, what it's going to, and actually I always worried about Jarvis because this looked bad compared to the grayscale one, but the Jarvis ones, when they're engraved, actually come out looking nicer than the grayscale ones on some of these. So it's another thing you can play around with when you're doing these. So we're going to send this out for processing, and we're going to engrave this, and we're going to take a look at what the results are between the M1 Ultra and the S1. So we saw what the S1 settings were. Now here, if we look at the M1 Ultra, we're looking at, it is 88 power, 88 speed, Jarvis 180. So the only thing we changed were the speed and the power to get almost an identical result. So we'll show that in a second. So these are the results from our run between the M1 Ultra and the S1. This was the result of the M1 Ultra. This is done with the 10 watt compared to, and here we go over to the S1 40 watt. And these are the results with the S1 40 watt. And basically, with a little bit of tweaking on either one, you can get the same results. So here's our engraved test, a little close-up, to give you an idea. And where we stopped at was 88 and 88 speed, which looked really nice, right about there. So this is what you get with the M1 Ultra at 88 speed and 88 power. As you can see, that engraving came out really nice. Everything's well defined, and it looks pretty sharp. Now, if we flip to this side, this took 2 hours and 50 minutes. And as you can see, the engrave is very deep and really dark. And that was the same engraving. This is the same engraving done at 88 power and 50 speed. So you can get a very deep, dark engrave with the M1 Ultra if you want. I don't know why that came with a line across. I paused it, and I don't know if it picked up funny when I unpaused it or what, but we do have a weird line there. So this was one that I had AI generated through XTool's AI generation, which is a pretty cool engraving. I like what it came up with. It's a lot of tries to get what you want sometimes, but sometimes you come out with some really awesome stuff. Now, I bought some files, and the next one I'm going to show you is one that I bought, done with the M1 Ultra. This was done on the M1 Ultra at the same 88 power, 88 speed, but I was done at 180 lines per centimeter. And as you can see, the detail on this is fantastic. This is every bit as nice as what comes out on the S1. The S1 comes out just as nice, a little faster, but they both produce great quality images. So it can be done, just a little more time, but definitely worth doing. It's a lot of fun. Over to this one. This is with the S1 40 watt. And I did a little bit of work on this. As you can see, there's a little burning at the top, and that was because I had accidentally knocked the hose off to my air assist. Don't do that. It doesn't engrave really nice. But I did a little tweaking on this, and I'll show you what I did on the other one just to get this output, this result. And this was done at 55 power, 150 speed, 180 lines per centimeter, and it took 56 minutes. This one, with the M1 Ultra, was done at 88 speed, 88 power, and it was done in 1 hour and 50 minutes. So, just to give you an idea of the time difference. But I'll show you a little trick here in a second. So if you want to bring up the details in this, what I do is I just take a sanding sponge, or to get a little more precise, I'll take 100 grit sandpaper. And you're just gonna lightly hit the highlights. And as you can see, it brings out a lot more detail. Like this corner here, you can see. When you hit it with the sandpaper, it really brings out the detail. Of course, your sandpaper will tend to get bunged up a little bit. And sometimes you just go over the whole thing with a sponge. And now, you just take that and take a brush and brush it off, and you see it made quite a difference. You can see the skull's a little nicer. The details have all been brought out nice. And then after this, what I'll do is I'll polyacrylic them or paint them depending on what I'm doing. So we'll do a couple different things on these. Okay, so as we've learned, you can do pretty much anything with the M1 Ultra that you can do with the S1. Just a refresher, this was the S1 Cardinals, and that was done in 1 hour and 21 minutes. This was the M1 Ultra Cardinals, and that was done in 2 hours and 37 minutes. Then our AI generated one. This was the S1, and I polyacrylic that one. I'll go over that in a second. that's our S1 engraving. This is our M1 Ultra engraving with polyacrylic. Now, the polyacrylic I usually spray on the polyacrylic first and then I brush on because it's cheaper for the brush on. So I spray it to seal it, then I brush on with just the regular Minwax polyacrylic. Then on this one, I had the one where we had the line through it. I took that line off with a chisel and a little sanding, and then I painted that black, and I used rub-on wax to give that a new life from a wasted part. And I just used these rub-on waxes that I got on Amazon. They come in little tubes. And I found that using a makeup sponge works really well for those. Some other ideas, if you haven't seen my other video, I go over how I paint these. So something else you can do with them. If you're using the M1 Ultra, another thing you want to keep in mind is this filter in the back, after one engraving, needs to be changed, because that's what it looks like after one engraving. And on the halfway through the second engraving, it'll plug up and your whole M1 will fill with smoke and you start smelling smoke. So just a warning, keep an eye on those. And I hope you liked my video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I've got more videos coming. I'm going to be doing some woodworking and making some different things. And I also have some sublimation woodwork that I'm doing. So see you soon.